I call this special meeting to order, virtual meeting, the City Commission of Rio Grande City. It is Wednesday, September the 9th. It is 6:11 p.m. And we're starting the invocation by Commissioner Jones, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Ramirez.
Bow our heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to get together today to conduct city business. I ask you for prayer for all the residents of Rio Grande City, keep them from harm way. I continue to ask for those that are dealing with the COVID-19 to keep all those in your prayers, Your Honor. I pray for us to thank you for the much needed rain that we got over the past couple of days, and to bless us and continue guiding us to make the right decisions for the residents of Rio Grande City. On all this, I ask for you. Amen.
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 The flag, of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Next business and orders, item B, roll call and finding of quorum. Ms. Garza,
Yes, Mayor Villapian,
here.
Mayor Pro Tem Garza,
Here.
Commissioner Flores. Here. Commissioner Ramirez
Here.
and Commissioner Jones.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Garza. Next business and orders, item 1C, public forum. Ms. Garza, do we have anyone signed up for public forum?
No one signed up for public forum, sir.
Okay, for the record, no one signed up for public forum. Next business and orders, item 2A, discussion and possible action to award RFQ number 2020-1 for Rio Grande City WWTP Rehabilitation Expansion and West 83 Sanitary Sewer Collection System project to Rio Delta Engineering, and authorizing the city manager to execute all necessary documents. Now, we had a lengthy discussion last time. Has anything changed at this point, or any comments? Or where are we as far as this item? I know all the commissioners received all these supporting documents, and were there any questions on there or any extension regarding this item or comments?
Mayor, I received the packages on Monday, and I went over the documentations and the checklist and how the evaluation was done. And it's true that both companies are qualified to be able to do this work. But my final decision on this, Mayor, is I feel that the ARC Form Premier has a better evaluation to me, and I just feel that this project should have been brought to the commission's attention, and we should have been grading, evaluating, and the process that was done. Since the 8 years that I've been here, Mayor, this is the first time that this is done. I just would like for Mr. Perez just to answer, why, he left the commission out. We've always done it since I've been here. I've been here for 8 years, and we've always done this process, not project, but process. And, I'm just shocked, in the way that it was presented to this commission, without us having any knowledge. But that's a thing of the past. I would just like, Mayor, anything like this that comes up in the foreseeable future, I would like for this commission, this is a multi-million-dollar project that is being handled, and the taxpayers put us here for a reason, and that's to make sure that things are being done right and the process is being done right. But when you have a city manager giving a letter of recommendation to a company that's applying for an application, to me, it throws red flags up. And again, I go back, the qualifications are there. I looked at both packages, and both companies are, they're well prepared for this. I honestly think that Arc Premier offers more on the table for this type of project. They have more experience when it comes to sewer plants projects, and that's basically my opinion. I don't know what other commissioners would like to speak up on this, but that's my opinion.
Let's proceed with the other commissioners, and then we'll come back to Mr. Perez because you posted questions. So Commissioner Ramirez, what do you take on this? Or any commissioner that would like to add to this at this point?
Mayor, I have a couple of questions that one of my last questions at the last meeting was not answered during the meeting when Mr. Quiroz had technical issues. My questions, I want to pose them again just so that we're clear with that we don't have to go through a rebidding process. That was one of my questions, and that we don't have to go through a rescoring process. Is that correct, Mr. Villarreal?
I heard the last part. You said we don't have to go through a
Through
rebidding.
a rebidding process or a rescoring process?
You don't. If you're gonna just narrow it down to this two, and you can interview both of them. You can ask questions as long as you stay within the four corners of the RFQ that was passed out. And this is what you have. You have two responders. Two people responded. These are your top two. If you're gonna change while you interview them or ask questions, and you're gonna go outside the R questions, then you might have to. You might have to go out and stop this process
Okay,
that you're doing now.
Yes, but that's not the intention. It's just to basically, my questions were those that we don't have to go through any of those processes as long as we stick to what we have that was presented to us, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and I do want to say that when I received the packets, I also took quite a bit of time going over both. And I do have to agree with Commissioner Jones. I did see, I compared both Rio Delta and Premier, and again acknowledging that we have Rio Delta has done an excellent job for the city. I do have some issues. First, I want to point out that when I went over the packet, I also do believe that Premier has more experience in this type of project than Rio Delta. I also noticed that that they do have sufficient insurance coverage, perhaps maybe a little bit more than Rio Delta, and their project team is bigger than Rio Delta's. So based on what I was presented in these two RFQs, I believe that Premier is the best company. The issues that I do have are a couple. The first one is that Rio Delta is a city engineer. And I find there to be a conflict of interest because they represent the city. Basically, they're the city engineer. If they are given this contract and something goes wrong, who do we go after? That's one of my issues, and I believe that's a conflict of interest. Second conflict of interest that I see is that upon reviewing this documentation, this RFQs, I did notice that Mr. Perez gave a letter of recommendation to Rio Delta, and I think that that's a conflict of interest for Mr. Perez to be giving a letter of recommendation to Rio Delta and also be an evaluator. And then the third issue that I have is that I don't believe that Mr. Cruz is sufficiently experienced to be evaluating this type of project. So I do believe that those are serious issues. And for those reasons, I believe that that we should go with Premier rather than Rio Delta to avoid any potential issues in the future.
Okay, Commissioner Garza, any thoughts on this?
Well, Mayor, I'm one of the ones that evaluated the RFQs, and if you look at those RFQs, or if you saw them, and if everybody saw them, everybody got pretty much evaluated the same way. Those items that were a little higher than than the other company besides Delta Engineering was because Delta Engineering has been working for the city. They know our system. They know how everything works. They know where our infrastructure is at and in what condition it is. They are local. They hire local people. They have a local office here where we can summon them right away if we need them. And, you know, some of the other points that were brought up the last time was the fact that they have their own, I forgot what was some of the other points that were there, but Mr. Peters brought them up the last time. And, you know, this is, you know, this issue is really a fiasco that we're doing here, and it's an injustice to the city. And, you know, Mayor, if we're gonna go that route, you know, I don't even wanna continue this discussion. As far as RFQs are concerned and who does these RFQs, I have always been the one involved with infrastructure. And all of us in the city council has been assigned, or we have volunteered to look at different departments in this city. So I have every right to sit down in that evaluation. Because if anybody has stayed up with the infrastructure, has been me. Now, it looks like this is being done on purpose, and put it to a vote, Mayor. Apparently, everybody knows what they're going to do already. You know, let's stop playing games.
And Mayor, just for the record, I agree with Mr. Garza. I absolutely have no issue with Mr. Garza being an evaluator, obviously. Mr. Garza's evaluation has never been an issue for me. But like Mr. Garza pointed out, I do want to, you know, again stress the fact that Mr. Garza stated that Rio Delta has worked for the city for many years and is a city engineer, and that's where I find a conflict of interest. It's not necessarily that I don't believe that they're good at what they do. I do. We appreciate their work. It's just a matter of fact that legally I see a conflict of interest in that respect.
All right.
Just to address the, you know, Commissioner Garza, you know, ever since I came in here, sir, you know, I've seen you as a mentor, sir. You know, I have nothing against you, and I have nothing to say about your evaluation, sir. You know, I just want to make that clear, that, you know, you've been nothing but a role model for me, sir, since I came in here for the past 8 years. And, you know, I hope you don't take this personal, sir, or anything like that. But, you know, I don't have an issue you sitting down in that commission, but I do have an issue leaving us out, not even telling us, you know, that we had a right to be there, which we did.
Commissioner Ramirez, where are you?
I think
Mayor, I
that
think
we got
listen
to a lot of RFQs, partner, where not all of us have participated in grading these RFQs. But then again, you know.
All right, for the purpose of today, let's hear everybody out and then we can decide what direction to go. Commissioner Ramirez, any thoughts on this?
Mayor, I'll keep it short. Listen to everybody's comments, and I've also read those RFQs. And again, you know, I'll reiterate the fact that they're both great companies, but yes, I do feel that one is probably more I guess, experienced in that area than the other. But, you know, I'll serve, I guess, my comments, and I'll just wait for a vote.
Okay, so obviously, if we can today is proceed with this as far as what direction we want to go, and is there a way to separate the noise in reference to underlying issues that could have been affecting this decision and just go with the simple facts?
Sir, may I make a comment?
Hold on, let me finish. So at this point, I know that it probably, going back to what I hear, is that yes, we could have done this differently. And yes, it could have been done in a way that all the commissioners could have been involved. And putting that for my purpose aside, I still went ahead personally and did the evaluation. And I went through both companies, and I did. And I still, going back to what I reiterated back then, I still came to the conclusion that for me purpose, Real Delta is a better company. But again, that's my opinion. Obviously, all of us can have different opinions. And are there issues? Yes. For example, is the city ready to have our own salaried engineer? Yes, but we don't have one. Right now, we contract with Real Delta, and we're paying them a monetary fee per month to look at our plans, planning and planning department. But we're not paying them a salary. So let's keep this in mind. They're not a salaried entity, and that's something that we as city, we should consider maybe in the next year, is start looking at our own city engineer and salaried position where we look at them, and we would avoid a lot of these issues that, go in place. Because bottom line is we do have, obviously we're contracting, but they have a right to bid out for RFQs as well. Because again, we're contracting their services, but it's not just them that we're contracting. We contract others too to review some of the plans. So it's not just Real Delta reviewing our plans. There are other companies that do that too whenever there's a conflict with them. And that would alleviate the issue of any potential conflict. So keep that in mind. We're having them they're contract employees to look at our plans and whatnot, but they're not salaried and firm that we actually contracting full-time. That's something we can consider for the future. But moving forward on this, again, we could have done it differently, yes. Could it have been done different? I agree. And I'll take the responsibility on that. It's on me. I'll take responsibility for that, because we could have easily included all the commissioners, plus of course the staff. You know, we could have easily done that. For some reason, I myself was not part of that. And that's okay for now, but in the future, we can definitely do something and make sure that all of us are part of it. So my idea here is, how do we resolve this situation now and move forward? So the next time, okay, we're ready to go about it that way, and do not let that affect our decision for purposes of this contract. Again, that's my opinion. I reviewed it, and I would go with Real Delta, because they are local, they are here, know what we're doing. They've been with us for some time, and a lot of the projects that we have, they've gone through it. So, they've done a very, very good job. And I don't know what, again, this other firm will come in. Maybe they are good, maybe not. But is it willing to take? No. But again, obviously, we all are going to disagree on this one, and that's okay. It's okay for us to disagree. But what I will say that moving forward from now on, we will commit to making sure that all commissioners, like in years past, we've done this in some cases and different, but we'll make sure that all the commissioners are included in the ranking, plus some staff members too, of course. But something that obviously we need to do for the future. The pending issue right now is, what do we do today? Can we move forward or can we not? And if so, what are the issues and ramifications of either way, one or the other, or how do we go about it? Mr. Villarreal, on this point, obviously the point is this item on the agenda. The item is whether we're going to award it to Real Delta or not. So, at this point.
Mayor, may I add some comment?
I do have
All right.
some.
Mr. Perez, you had a statement before we move on. I know Mr. Perez wanted to add something.
Yes, sir. Just as a reminder, we're still working on the lift station project. I don't know if all of you were involved in the lift station project from the beginning in the contract, but if I remember correctly, Meldon and Hunt was a city engineer at that time. They were contracted for $177,000 to design the lift station project, which ended up not being used design-wise. And actually, Real Delta was brought in after they were also city engineers to take care of the design flaws that Meldon and Hunt left on the lift station project. That goes to show we've had a city engineer before that was hired by the city. They were contracted to do a project such as the lift station project that's still ongoing right now. So this is nothing new. Now, that's number one. Number two, by the way, any design plans that are put together by any engineer, they will have to be reviewed and accepted by TCQ, Water Development Board, and the Ned Bank. So there shouldn't be a conflict of anybody reviewing any of those plans because somebody else is going to take care of those reviews. It's not the city's responsibility to review them.
So that inflect again, whether there's an issue there or not. But at this point, if we're ready to move on this item, whether it's to vote on it or again, how do we move forward with this? Then,
Mayor, I do have some other things to add regarding what has been said so far.
go ahead.
My first comment will be to Mr. Perez's comment that we had a city engineer before doing projects for the city. Well, the fact that it's been done before still does not answer my question if there is going to be a legal issue in the future with a new contract. Yes, it possibly was done before my time in the city commission. That doesn't mean that it's not an issue. I disagree, with all due respect, Mayor, that Rio Delta is not a city employee. They do have a contract. It's like saying that
They're contracted.
they have a
Full-time
contract.
employees, no, they're not full-time, they don't get benefits.
Correct. I am aware of that, but I still believe that they represent the city. So I still believe that that is an issue. And I will ask Mr. Villarreal a question on that as soon as I'm done. My other concerns, Mayor, was that during the presentation last week, Mr. Cruz kept referring and kept stating that he had gone through legal with all of these issues. He said that we needed to re-advertise, that we had contacted with, that he had communicated with legal. Obviously, that's not correct. He said that we needed to rebid, that he had run this by legal. Obviously, also not correct. That we needed to rescore, and that he had run all of this by legal. Also not correct, as per Mr. Villarreal's statement today. And so those are serious issues, in my opinion. And the fact that we were not made aware of any of this happening, not provided any documentation before that last meeting, I think that those are serious concerns. And I want for Mr. Villarreal to answer my question. If he really thinks that from a legal standpoint, if the city, if Rio Delta, who has a contract with the city to provide us with services, that if in the future they were awarded this project and something goes wrong, that who do we sue then? If there is a need for litigation and Rio Delta is under contract with the city and they're awarded the contract, is there really no conflict of interest? Because I'm not convinced that there is none.
Well, Rio Delta can participate on the RFQ as long as they don't participate as being the city engineer on this project. Nothing forbids them from participating, okay? Nothing does. As long as they do not act in this particular project as the city engineer. So regarding the conflict, I think legally we stand in good ground if they participate. And again, as long as they abstain from being the city engineer on this particular project. So I don't have a problem with the conflict issue. Personally, legally, I think we'll be okay. Again, as long as they abstain from being the city engineer on this project.
Okay, so
regarding the other issue, let me finish this. Regarding the other issue, regarding the CASA being the only commissioner, regarding the RFQ and evaluating, if all of you would have done this, you would have been in violation of the, you would have been in a quorum. You would have been in violation of the Open Meetings Act. So my understanding of why small groups get together, in this particular case, one commissioner, maybe the city manager and whoever else got together, there's absolutely nothing wrong. If you all wanted to participate, then you have to take a different avenue. You would need to post it in the public meeting We would have to open it. You all would have to participate regarding the evaluation, and all this would have to be done in an open in a public meeting. So
Yeah, but-
regarding one
yeah,
commissioner participate, there's
That-
absolutely nothing wrong with,
Mayor,
you know, if all of
The evaluations could be done individually though, without anybody else being present though.
Right,
That's-
Correct.
that's my point.
Yeah, I mean, I can do my evaluation individually at my house. Let's say I don't have to do it with the rest of the commission there.
that's how it's
And that's
always been
the
done.
That's
Yeah.
what been on the path. They do it individually. We don't get together to discuss the
We
evaluation.
don't discuss, I gave you this, I gave you that. You do it individually, and then you tabulate it. Whoever we charge with tabulating it, they tabulated it. Usually it's the city secretary, she tabulates it and then brings the final here, and then we discuss it in open session. I mean, would that not be
but regarding the conflict,
right?
again, regarding the conflict issue, I'm pretty satisfied that as long as they don't participate in the project as the city engineer, they can participate in the RFQ.
So, Mr. Villarreal, follow-up question on that. So if we have Rio Delta to assist us with services, we gave them a contract for those services. Now
Correct.
we're saying we'll give you a
Correct.
project now, but you will not be serving as city engineer. So who will be our city engineer in this project? Are we going to hire somebody else when we already paid Rio Delta?
Well,
Ma'am,
again, you have a contract with Real Delta. They're not, okay? It's sort of like the same thing with me. I'm not an employee of the city. I have a contract with you, okay? But I'm not an employee. I don't get the benefits from the city. I am not considered an employee of the city.
But you obviously cannot take projects that would put you on the other side, correct?
But I'm not taking any projects, but
Yeah.
if projects were to
I'm
come
just
up
giving an
and I
example.
would ask for a conflict resolution, I'm pretty sure I can resolve a conflict resolution. It's like when we represent
But my-
clients and we have two clients, as long as one waives.
But still my question was not answered. So if we give this contract to Rio Delta and they will not be participating as a city engineer, so, and we need a city engineer to oversee the project, are we going to hire another firm to do that when Rio Delta is under
Well-
contract to do it already?
Ma'am, we're doing that with St. Ives right now. We have SMB providing oversight in
Mayor,
St.
I'm having
Ives.
enough of this conversation already, Mayor. I'd like to make a
Oh,
motion.
hold on, hey, Commissioner Jones, obviously, we have an option here to listen to all the scenarios and take a vote. So I know we want to be impatient here. All right, so are we, at this point, and obviously these are questions that can be answered in a workshop. So at that way we can take our time and move forward with, personally, again, I don't see it as a conflict, but that's my personal take. Obviously, we see it differently, but nonetheless, at this point, then we're ready for a vote. If we do, then do I entertain a motion at this time based on what's on here and then come back or decide what direction to go?
Is there, Mayor, I move to give contract AFQ to Premier.
Okay, but that's not what the item on the agenda is. The item on the agenda is to award it to Rio Delta. So, is that correct, Mr. Villarreal, or is there an issue with how it's worded?
That is correct.
Okay, so the
That's
item
correct. That's
here
the way
is
it's
to
worded.
award it to Rio Delta. So, is there a motion at this time about this item here? Oh, all right.
Mayor, I'm gonna make the motion that we award this contract to the highest rank engineering firm, which is Delta Engineering. That is my
Okay.
motion.
All right, so moving on, then we have a motion to award the contract to Real Delta by Commissioner Garza. I second it. Okay, so we have a motion to award the contract to Real Delta. We have a second. At this time, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. At this time, all those opposed, raise your left hand. Motion does not pass. At this time, then we'll bring it back as a different item down the road. Next item in order is item 3, letter A, City Manager's Report. The report holding discussion and provide staff direction on the city's proposed staff evaluation process. Letter A, Mr. Perez.
Yeah, Mayor and Commissioners, kind of had an assignment for the directors, and Ms. Guillen took the lead in this. Ms. Guillen got together with the directors, and the directors also seek the input from their frontline employees. So with that, they put together a proposal that we'd like to run by you and see what you think, and so we can get feedback from you and going forward. Ms.
Okay.
Guillen, are you there?
Yes, I am. Mayor, Commissioners,
Hello, Ms. Guillen.
good evening. As Mr. Perez mentioned, a committee of directors gathered to develop a method for the evaluation, recording, and improvement of the work effectiveness of our city employees. And we have provided you some of those documents that we reviewed as a group and put through our frontline staff to get their feedback as well. The committee considered a method known as the management by objectives method. It's an appraisal method where the managers and the employees together identify, plan, and organize and communicate goals using the SMART goal setting process. And in the packet that you have with information, you'll see the tool that we're recommending. It provides for setting the standards, noting the accomplishments, performance, objectives, and comments. And if and when necessary, a performance improvement tool will be used to help align the individual performance with our organizational goals. I think that everyone was pretty thorough in their review of these materials that are in front of you. We looked at some of the options that we have available to help our employees with their performance. We have an array of tools through our public library that provide classes in customer service, Excel, Google Docs, Microsoft Word, time management, workplace safety, etc. And then we have other resources also available to us through TML to build up the skill set of our employees. But wanted to do was to put forward a process that everyone could agree on, that was simple enough for the director and the employee to understand and follow through with. I know that other departments, because the police department was a part of this committee, has a different method or tool to evaluate their law enforcement officers, and that has been approved by the city commission, so their forms don't change. But this is for other departments that are seeking the ability to provide this evaluation for their employees. And so I'm happy to answer any questions you have about the documents.
So how many staff members were involved in this process again, Ms. Guillen?
I want to say we had about 8. I don't have the exact count, but there must have been about 8 or 9 directors, I believe. I think all, most departments were included.
Ms. Guillen, can you tell us which of the directors were involved?
Sure. Let me pull the information. Hang on just a second. Okay, I have the list here in front of me. So we had Miss Valerie Brown, our HR director, Miss Elisa Beas, our director of development, Mr. Gilbert Milan, director of planning, Mr. Stephen Cruz, Director of PUD, Ms. Norma Foltz, Director for the Public Library, Chief Noe Castillo for the Police Department, Chief Manuel Muniz with the Fire Department. And my
What are some of the considerations for moving forward with this, Ms. Yen? Is it going to be brought up to the staff so they can review it as well, or what are we? What are
So-
the potential? Go
So
ahead.
the directors, I guess the first phase of this, we had the directors look at this, the committee of directors look at these documents and fine tune them before bringing them before their staff to discuss the document and and get their input, see if there was anything there that needed to be considered for revision. And we did not get any of that type of feedback from our employees, at least anyone that had objection to the information on these forms. They're standard evaluation forms, in my opinion, but we did make it to where we are recording those accomplishments of the employees and noting where they need areas of improvement, and if they do, connect with the tools and resources that we have to bring them to the level that we need them to be at. And so I don't know if there are other members of the committee that are on this call, but we reviewed this very thoroughly, and we also solicited the input from our frontline staff, as I mentioned.
Excellent.
And of course, the HR director, Ms. Valerie Brown, is responsible for setting those evaluation dates, work with the departments to monitor the timeliness of the evaluation, maintaining these performance reviews. And then, of course, the supervisor or the directors have most of the work in reviewing their employees and that you have before.
Okay. If anything, so the directors, I guess in the next phase of this, will bring it up to the employees within their staff, and then they'll review it as well and get some input from them. Would that be suffice to say that that'll be the next step, you said?
Mayor, if that's what you would like us to do, I know that we took this to staff. I don't believe that this got in front of every one of our staff members, but we can certainly take it, put it out there for another review by frontline staff to see if there are recommendations or reservations about anything on these forms. But that's entirely up to you. We could take that step if you'd like.
Well, personally, I would like to see that where all staff members get to review it as well and get their input, as give an input here and there, see how they would feel about it, and just get their opinions on it, and that way we can come back later and make sure that everyone is on board, or at least the majority. And if not, what are the reservations, and can we iron out those reservations before we proceed on implementing something like that?
We can do that.
Or any other questions or comments by commissioners about this?
Did we get a copy of that, Mayor?
It should be in your
Is it in the
packet.
packet? Should be in the packet, okay. I think I must have overlooked it. I'll look it up, ahorita.
And,
Okay.
and Mayor and Commissioners, if I may add, one of the things that we did not get to complete in this first round is the employee recognition portion of this process. We all agree that there should be something in place. We weren't sure what that would be, but that would be one of our next steps to making sure that employees are receiving recognition where recognition is due. And we just need to come together with some ideas on how we want to proceed with that so we can bring it, before you for your consideration.
Perfect. All right. Anything else or any other questions, comments by anyone? All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Guillen. If you can just, like we suggested, just move forward with the frontline staff and everyone else, just to have the opportunity to review it and add their comments or questions or any potential improvements to this document. And that way we can proceed moving forward for these evaluations and
Absolutely. And our directors have department meetings where they may bring that up directly with their employees. I'll just let everybody do it as they need to in communicating it with their employees, but we can certainly have everyone take a look at it and see if there's any additional feedback that we can help us improve.
And really, that's the intent with these evaluation documents, is for everyone to have the opportunity to review it and add their comments or improvement ideas or anything that they suggest as well. But to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to review it and add their comments or improvement for this document. As long as we do that, then that way we're more comfortable moving forward with an evaluation process. Because there's always room for improvement for all of us. So, but thank you. Any other things from Ms. Guillen? Nope. Thank you, Ms. Guillen.
Thank you very much.
At this point, you would just move forward that way. We don't have to take action at this time. Thank you. Next, business and orders, item 3B, receive a report holding discussion and provide staff direction on potential names for connector streets along Rattler Drive, St. Ives. Mr. Perez.
Mayor and Commissioners, as you know, there are two streets that are going to be connecting with the current name of Rattler Drive, and that's between lots 4 and 5 and lots 5 and 6. The developer has suggested a sagebrush for the one that's going to be between 4 and 5, and palo verde between 5 and 6. And he just wanted to check in and just make sure that that didn't go against anything that we were trying to do in the city. Those names have not been used as far as I can tell, but he just wanted to mention that and bring it to your attention.
Commissioners, any ideas? You know how I feel about Rattler Drive, but again, that's my own opinion about that.
Well, now they go hand in hand. It's a Rattler and Palo Verde. That's all right.
All right, so Rattler, why don't we put El Cascabel, something,
And did y'all ever think about maybe
something that.
something like Los Olmos Creek Drive or Hill Country Drive instead of Rattler? Something that, because you are by the Hill Country.
So I know
I like that Los
I like that one.
I do like, Mr. Perez, I do like that recommendation, Los Olmos, because it is next to Los Olmos Arroyo there, and Hill Country, of course. We're on the Hill Country of the Valley, so those two are good.
Or can y'all decide before they put up the sign for Rattler Drive?
No,
I
I
like Rattler Drive. I'm talking about the other two recommendations for the other two streets that connect to Rattler Drive.
Oh,
think that the majority of commission was for Rattler Drive. I think that was true, right? Majority of the commission. And then, so Palo Verde, you said, and Los Olmos. Okay, those are Los Olmos Creek, yes. Palo Verde.
no, he was going with sagebrush and Palo Verde. I'm sorry.
Los Olmos,
Sagebrush.
I like Los Olmos better.
So do I. I like Los Olmos better.
Yeah.
Los Olmos.
I mean, Hill
No, I
Country,
like
the other one.
Hill Country's good.
Hill Country is the other one.
Well, y'all decide
Los Olmos, Hill Country.
which two.
All right, so Los Olmos for sure, right? We're good with Los Olmos. And then the
How many
other,
do you need? One or two recommendations?
What's
You
that?
need 2 recommendations?
Two.
How many do you need? 2 recommendations?
Connectors.
How
Okay,
about
well,
Loma Vista?
As long as whatever names I take back, as long as they're not being used anywhere else in the city.
All right, so Los
If I
Olmos.
may,
I
if
don't
I may, this
recall.
is Mr. Milan. I'm sorry to interrupt, Mayor, but we already have a Los Olmos Street, by the way.
Okay. Then at this point, all right, so
Hill Country?
do we have a Hill Country?
No, we don't, Mayor. As a matter of fact, that was a suggestion, Hill Country Drive.
Okay.
I
Everybody
like Hill
okay
Country
with
too.
Hill Country? And then the other one, well, we're still, you said, we don't
Mayor
have
Pro
a,
Tem suggested Loma Linda, which goes with Hill Country. I mean, that could be a pair. If we don't have Loma Linda anywhere else.
oh,
So are we not keeping Rattler Drive for sure?
yes,
Yeah,
no,
but
no,
the-
everybody was okay with, the majority was okay with Rattler Drive.
Rattler's in Hill Country and Loma Linda.
All right. We good with that one, Mr. Perez?
Yes, sir. We'll make sure that they're not being used anywhere else.
Okay. All right, next item is item 4, executive session, chapter 551, Texas Government Code 551.071, consultation with attorney, and section 551.076, Texas Government Code, and 551.074, personnel matters. It is 6:57 PM, and we'll be switching over to the executive session link. So we'll be exiting this link and move on to the executive session.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we're back from executive session. It is 8:11 PM. It is item 5, reconvene into regular session in consideration of action on matters during executive session, including the following. There's no action on item 5A, no action on item 5B. That's correct, Mr. Villarreal? And,
That is correct.
okay. And at this time, do we entertain a motion for adjournment?
I saw more, Mayor.
I
I have a
second that.
motion to adjourn by Commissioner Ramirez. Second by Commissioner Garza. Is that a yes? All right, second by Commissioner Garza. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed to raise your left hand. Motion carries, meeting adjourned. It is 8:12 PM. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with us. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Have a good evening.